Hi everyone, it's Tasha. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Well, hello out there. Christmas has been over for a couple of weeks now. It is mid-January and I'm just going through and refreshing, resetting some areas in my home, doing a little bit of redecorating just to kind of give everything a little bit of a breath of fresh air. And one of the areas that had some Christmas decorations on it was this brass bar that I installed on our kitchen island. It had some Christmas towels, some Christmas bells, and I thought I would go back in not only putting my more season neutral towels, but also adding some dried florals, which I think are great for any season of the year. I got this bundle from Temu a while back. I'm not sure if it's still available, but I will try to link it. But I thought that I would kind of hang it upside down here on one of these hooks just as a nice little nod to kind of drying your own flowers, drying your own herbs in the kitchen, something like that. I think it has a warm and earthy vibe. And also I do look forward to actually drying some herbs here, actually drying some flowers here a little bit later in the spring, but this is a nice season neutral version of that look. Curry was obsessed with this. He stood there and just stared at these for the longest time. I thought it was so cute, but I really do like the warmth that it adds to that area. I'm also going to be restyling my hutch, which is in my dining room, and this is an area where I also had several Christmas specific items and a nice Christmas piece of artwork and everything. So I'm going back through and making it also more season neutral, and I try and mix things up, not necessarily just put things back exactly the way they were before the Christmas decorations, but kind of start over and do things just a little bit differently every time. I'm using a piece of art that I did have out for fall, however, because I'm still not over this print. I think it's so beautiful and could definitely be more season neutral, especially in my home where I lean towards more of the muted and warmer colors anyway. Also, you'll see a fabulous blue bowl that I thrifted from Goodwill. I think it was $12. Also a little brass piece also from the thrift store, as well as the big white round vessel that I'm using on the bottom. It's truly amazing the amount of items that you can find if you regularly thrift shop, and of course I do have some new items mixed in as well. I love these marble candle holders that I found at TJ Maxx. They were only $6.99 a piece, so I thought that was a great deal. And here back to another thrift shop find, which I actually never took the time to get the price off the bottom of. Apparently it was $4.99. Isn't that so pretty? And I feel like it would definitely be a lot more in a retail shop. So a few thrifted items, a few new items. This is another piece with these scalloped edges, this little tray that I picked up from a thrift shop, and I think it looks perfect just styled on top of some books, or on top in this instance of some little storage baskets. And all of these different textures and muted colors come together really beautifully, I think, in this hutch styling. Now for my front living area, I had changed my furniture around for Christmas because I wanted my Christmas tree to be right in front of this bay window where it could be seen from the street. And I really like that furniture setup actually, so I'm going to leave it like that, which is different than how it was before and how you would have seen it in my previous videos if you've been here for a while. I like this tree in front of the window as well though. It is a faux tree from the thrift store that was only $40, and it actually reminds me the most, as far as what I'm seeing online, of this one from a floral, which is over $1,000 just because of the shape of it and the realism. I have no idea where it's actually from, but it was a great deal for $40. So I'm leaving that there in front of the window, and I'm just turning my attention to some other areas of the room. I like to also mix up the art that I have in the room sometimes throughout the year just to kind of keep things fresh. So I'm using these two pieces which were in other rooms, and I have not used these stacked in this particular way before, but I think that they go nicely together with the darker one on the top and the nice sketchy sort of tree one on the bottom. I have a side chair over here as an accent, and also this thrifted lamp. Now this lamp has this sort of texture on it, which I showed you last year in a video, and I think that it's really cool, but I found myself wanting to change it up a little bit because it's so light. It's really blending in with the wall more, and I thought I would just try out an idea I had, which was to buy some contact paper and just wrap that pole of it just to give it a little bit of a different look that would not be so permanent as painting or doing some other technique, because I can always just pull this right back off. This contact paper I got from Amazon, and I did also have the idea of using like a burl wood contact paper would look super cool, or just so many different options depending on what look you want. The burl wood options that I found all were a little bit too orange for my taste, although I'm gonna keep my eye open because I really like the idea of making it look like a burl wood base. But I did think that this one, which is kind of a woven texture, would look really cool, so I'm just applying that section by section, and I'm going this way just because that's the way the contact paper naturally curled, instead of trying to do a long strip and turn it against the curl, if that makes sense. But I think that it turned out really well in the end. Gives the lamp a different look that I can easily just take off later if I get tired of it. I'm also bringing in beside this chair this little DIY stool. It was just a regular pine bar stool, I believe, that I chopped the legs off of, gave a distress treatment to, and I'm styling that with a pot that I picked up from Walmart last year and some more dried florals. In the other corner on the other side of the tree, I have my sketches from Williamsburg that I had separated out for Christmas time, 2 on one wall and 2 on the other, just to fill in the other wall for the Christmas situation. But I'm putting all of those back together in one group of 4 on this side now, and I really like the pop that that gives, and the statement of all 4 of those being together. I really just like that more. I guess I'll come back to styling the sofa a little bit later. Curry, should I come back? Yeah, I'll come back. While I wait for the sofa to be free, I'm going to turn my attention to the coffee table instead. And I always enjoy doing the coffee table. The past few times I've styled this, I have done groups of 4. So I thought that this time I would try and shake it up by doing groups of 3. To be honest, I really think that I'm just a person who prefers a rectangular coffee table to be styled in 4 separate groupings, but I'm going with 3 this time nonetheless. So for the first little section there, I have 2 books and then another 2 books on the other side. I have this beautiful bowl that I picked up from Home Goods last year as my 3rd section of this grouping, and I thought that I would go in and just see what I could place on top of the books. So on this set, which is the bigger set of books, which I picked up from a yard sale, by the way, for only a couple dollars each, I'm putting this beautiful Cottage Home hurricane vase with their candle inside. On the other side, I tried just a couple of different options. At first I tried this olive green little storage box, which I picked up from the thrift store, but I ended up switching it out because it was just a little too full and a little too busy there, and just putting this other thrifted piece of this carved kind of resin wood little bowl. It's very unique. I haven't really seen one shaped quite like that before instead. And so these are my 3 groupings, and like I said, I do tend to change this up a lot, so I can't promise it will look like this next month, but this is how I have it for today. I think that it's so nice to be able to pick up thrifted pieces that are really unique along with a few store-bought pieces. That is definitely something that I'm into this year as well. Over here on the fireplace, I have this beautiful antique or vintage olive jar. I'm not sure which, but I did find this at a yard sale. It was covered with dirt. This is not something from Hobby Lobby or some recreated piece. It is genuinely an older piece. I got it for $2, which, you know, if you've been here for a while, I've talked about it before. And I'm styling it with this little one from Cottage Home also that has the same sort of similar vertical lines in the top. I thought that these looked really cute beside each other, which I had them styled for Christmas like that with some Christmas stems. But I'm just doing the same basic thing with these other faux stems that I picked up last year, probably from Hobby Lobby, and I think that they just look good as a set staggered there, so I'm going to be leaving that, but just switching it to the other side of the fireplace for my purposes this season. On the top of my mantle, I like to keep it pretty simple. I feel like it can look too cluttered up there kind of quickly, especially because my mantle isn't super long or very big. So I'm just going in with one simple sketch that I picked up from Hobby Lobby last year. Just these really simple folded hands, which I really love that print, alongside an afloral little pedestal bowl that I got from the thrift store last year, and some DIY pomegranates that I made look like stone, which I can link the video for you for. And over here on this chest of drawers to the right of the fireplace, I'm going to be leaving out these standing bells from Cottage Home that I got last year. I think that they're great for all seasons, not just the Christmas holiday with the Association for Bells. I think that they're just really cool. I'm going to be leaving those right where they are. I hopefully have a couple of beautiful braided picture frames coming in from a Target order in time to show you for this. My thought was that they would go on top of those two books, so we'll see how that works out. In the meantime, I'm turning my attention to my console table, which is straight on from the door where you enter the house, so it's one of the first things that you see. I have this beautiful lamp that I bought for myself for a Christmas present this past year, and I do think that it's really beautiful in person, and I will keep that for a very long time. On the opposite side, I'm doing this beautiful twisted ribbed piece from Michael's from last year. I'm not sure if it's still available, but I will take a look for it for you, with some more of the same dried florals that I used in the kitchen hanging upside down on the brass bar. I'll be using two separate stacks of books in between these, with some other objects like this beautiful bowl that I thrifted last year. That is a handmade pottery piece from someone. It was so beautiful, around $10 I think. Some Hobby Lobby little glass candle holders and some pillar candles in a nice taupey color, along with a little brass candle snuffer that I also picked up at a thrift shop for $1.99 will, I think, complete this console styling for me. Now that the sofa is sort of free and Curry has moved for me, I'm just going in, and you might have noticed all the cat hair when I showed him a minute ago. He likes to lay in the same spot for weeks on end, and so it gets a lot of hair just in one or two spots around the house. So it's time for a deep clean for this, and that will just freshen it up. I would like to get a new sofa here before too terribly long, and I'm just looking into my options and seeing what I would like. This one is not quite what I'm looking for, and it's also kind of getting a little bit lumpy, but in the meantime, as you can see, I've got Barbies and markers laying on my freshly decorated coffee table, but honestly I wouldn't have it any other way. So here we go with the sofa. This is a piece from the Chris Loves Julia collection. You can pick it up at Amazon or Wayfair. I love that pillow with the subtle ruffle around the edges. Also, a nice soft taupe pillow that I've had for a while is a nice accent beside that patterned one. And on the other end, I'm just doing one pillow, which is this pillowcase I got from the thrift store, but is actually from Lulu in Georgia, which was a great steal as well. On the back side of the sofa is my one touch, I would say, of something that's very springy, and I'm not doing a lot of spring specific stuff yet, but I did go ahead and pick this up from Target. I thought it was really pretty from their new Threshold Studio McGee line, and I think that it looks good on both sides. So the back side looks nice as well, even though it's not technically the finished side. They both look nice, so I might be switching it back and forth. But this is basically what you see when you walk in, kind of to the side, separating out this room from the doorway. And so I wanted to give it a little pop of something really pretty just right there. And I think that the pattern on the back of that is nice, because when you're looking out into the rest of the room, it gives you that nice punch right there on the back when you first come in. And so this is how the room is looking with all of my touches. So many of these are thrifted, and it does take time. Remember that it takes time. You can't go in one or two trips and find everything you need if you're going that route, but I think that it's worth it to take your time and mix a lot of secondhand, more unique pieces in with whatever you're choosing to buy retail. You all know that I like a nice earthy and mostly neutral palette. I do want to incorporate a few more colors, but I'm still going to be always drawn to more muted colors, and so I find that really calming, and that is my vibe. Curry is back in his spot, and I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please hit the like button and also leave me a comment. I love to read your comments. Also, come and find me on Instagram if you haven't followed me there as well. I'll put the link in the description box for you. I hope that everyone listening has a fantastic week, and I'll see you at the next video.